FS Securities, an education and information firm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. And every morning I actually go through what happened overnight and see what we're likely to see this coming day or two. And we have some recommendations and some technical and fundamental analysis. So by the way, we'll show you also what is hot, what is not, what is you should hold and what you should fold. And by the way, if you have any particular feedback you would like to give us, we would really appreciate hearing from you. Well, overnight and from around the globe, we start with Wall Street. We've seen the market was actually edged a little bit higher, 0.4% on the Dow, and the same for the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq up 0.7%, 62 points to 9,552. The S&P 500, by the way, is holding over the 3,000 level, and that's pretty good. In Europe, the Stoxx 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, was up 0.9%, and in Germany the market was shut, and in London the FTSE 100 index was up 1.5% to 6,166. When you compare what happened the day before, when it was down 142 points, so really the last 3 trading days, the market is almost unchanged. The Nikkei in Japan was up 0.8%. In China, the Shanghai index was up nearly 3%. And our market yesterday, we dropped early in the morning and we were flat. And then during the day, we were actually continued to go higher. We finished 1.1% or 5,820 points, the level where it finished. The futures showing that the market most likely will edge a little bit higher at 9 points. By the way, yesterday morning, the market indicated that the futures were showing that a decline of 24 points, but look what happened. It ended up 63 points higher. This morning, the futures are showing 9 points higher. Well, we'll see what happens when the market opens. Gold 1,750, holding on to the strength of the last 2 days. Silver 1.7% higher at $18.82. That's US per ounce, up 32 cents. As you can see here, the change from yesterday, the day before. And copper was up 1.8%. Brent oil up nearly 2% to $38.56, and the West Texas crude oil almost very steady. And the iron ore price was down 1.9%, but still holding over the $100 US per bushel. By the way, iron ore yesterday morning we said it was actually up 5%. Which actually pushed BHP and Rio to very good performance yesterday on the market. But anyway, it's still above $100 US per bushel, per ton. And in China, the Dalian iron ore was down 2.2%, 740 yuan. And by the way, yesterday 35% of our stocks advanced, and nearly 27% declined. But the volume, by the way, yesterday was 3.1 billion. But look what happened the previous 2 days. We've had 4.1 and 4 billion transactions. And for those people who follow Bitcoin, Bitcoin was steady overnight, 9,460 US, up 20 US dollars. And that converts to approximately 14,200 Australian dollars, actually up $45. And looking at the charts, this is the American chart, the Dow. That's the weekly, holding well above the 61.8 retracement of the Fibonacci retracement, which is positive. And looking at the stochastic being bullish, the parabolic stop and reverse being bullish as well. Looking at the daily, the stochastic is bullish above the 80%. The parabolic stop and reverse bullish. The 50-day moving average, a very big retracement here. It actually started to move up. So actually the market is now seeing over the 50 days quite a big advancement on the upside, but still well below the 100-day moving average, and the 100-day moving average still below the 200-day moving average. For the very long term, this is actually still bearish. But remember, the market had a very big drop early in the year, and obviously that has really pushed all those moving averages down. But anyway, it's good to see that the 50-day moving average converging upward towards the 100. It may take some time to change, but anyway, that's still very positive. Looking at our market, the ASX 200, our market gauge, which is made up mainly by two major sectors, the financial and the materials. Well, you look at the weekly here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of green candles, and we actually hovered around the 38.2% retracement and then zoomed up towards the 50% retracement, and this is where it is at the moment. And it looks like it, as I said yesterday morning on my presentation, that it may hover around the 50% retracement for a number of weeks. Looking at the daily chart, the stochastic is still bullish, but actually on the way down. If it crosses the 80% line, then we are starting to enter into probably short-term bearish. And look here, the parabolic stop and reverse, we had a gap, and that gap is actually reducing and heading towards the bottom of the last candle. But yesterday candle looks very positive. It opened there, it went down and then went up and finished on the upside. So let's see what happens today. But anyway, the parabolic stop and reverse is bullish, the stochastic is bullish, the non-day is above the 21-day, that's bullish. It's still hovering around the upper band of the Bollinger Band. So we're still seeing, you know, various indication. However, for the short term, we are reasonably bullish on the market. Now, looking at our mechanical system, which we've designed over many years, we look at the 5 indicators out of 8. For the investor, we look at 2 time frames, the monthly and the weekly. For the traders, we look at the weekly and the daily. And here we see on the weekly forecasts versus daily, we can see that the market in America is still very bullish. Gold and silver very bullish this morning, and crude oil again starting to enter more of bullish momentum. Coffee, if you trade other commodity, is bearish. Cotton bullish, and by the way, soybeans turned neutral. We heard this morning that China has actually put a halt on buying soybeans from America because of what's happening about Hong Kong. Australian dollar very strong. We said it was very strong 3 days ago, and we said that the American dollar was actually bearish 3 days ago. The euro very bullish, and the British pound again entering more bullish area on the back of weakness in the US dollar. Now, looking at our market, here we've got, you can see it's mainly all blue. TPM, despite a drop of 2.8% yesterday, the indicators have not picked this up yet. It may take some time. Remember, some of the indicators are lagging and take some time, and some are leading. However, we said that TPM, which by the way it's TPG as a communication company, was very strong over the last 2-3 weeks. What else we have here? We have BHP bullish because of on the back of the price increase in iron ore, and of course Rio is also the same thing here. And Rio, by the way, had the best performance yesterday, as you can see here, 4.1% increase. BHP had 3% increase, and going down, Newcrest Mines had 2.7% increase, and we've got Newcrest Mines here. A slight weakening for the conservative trader, but overall we're still bullish. TPM was still bullish. West Farmers had 0.7% increase yesterday, and we're still holding on to the bullish positions. Woodside Petroleum, bullish for the very aggressive traders. Woolworths, we were actually bearish for several days. We turned into neutral, even though we've seen a drop of 0.2% yesterday in the price, 6 cents. Okay, in terms of the most active companies, Boral had 6.7% increase. We need to understand why Boral has gone up. And Fortescue had an all-time high, $14.80, $14.80, 6.4%, and we started to forecast Fortescue for the last 4 days, and we indicated the price rise and the volume increase in Fortescue. Flight Centre had a good day yesterday. Rio, as I mentioned, Webjet, Evolution Mining, Origin Energy, BHP, as I mentioned, CSL, Star Entertainment, Aristocrat, all these companies had very good performance yesterday. Okay, finally, we like to actually look at companies with extra volume, and Fortescue Mines, as I mentioned, had a price increase of 6.4% and a slight increase in the daily average volume. As to explain, over the last 50 days, the average volume is 14 million per day, and yesterday we've seen 12% over the average volume. So high volume or higher volume or higher price, that's a very good sign. Nothing on the bearish side. And for those traders, Bellevue Gold continues to go higher and higher every single day. However, we cannot trade it on CFD, on CMC market. However, if you traded Bellevue Gold when it was actually down well below 92 cents, you're still making some very good money. Other companies, data number 3, also we cannot trade it on CMC, CFD trading, but continues to go higher. 5% increase in the price and 36% above the average volume. On the downside, Freedom Goods, Ioneer, and Select Harvest. Select Harvest, by the way, appeared on our radar several days. In terms of announcement today, we've got the current account at 11:30 Queensland time. We expect it will be 6.3 billion. The previous one was 1 billion, so let's see whether that's going to really create some momentum. And company operating profits quarter on quarter, we expect that to be 0. Let's see, perhaps we might see a surprise here. The cash rate, the RBA will announce at 3:30 p.m. The cash rate will remain at 0.25. That's we expect that not to change. And also there will be a statement on the back of the announcement by the RBA. It will be interesting to see what they have to say. In terms of yesterday, we can see the announcement here. The Australian dollar AIG manufacturing index was 41 billion. Sorry, that's the index, that's the percentage. Was increased from the previous one. Inflation rate, again, that's the manufacturing inflation, down 1.2%. In China, still holding above the 50 for the PMI, which is still positive, slightly higher from the previous figures. Commodity prices went down 7%, although we've seen that iron ore price in the last couple of days increasing, so that may change. Going down in America tonight, final manufacturing PMI, also for final manufacturing PMI in Europe. construction spending will look like yesterday. It was actually this morning showed a 2.9% drop. We expected 6.5%. We had better results. So that's all for us here today. The disclaimer, everything we showed you here today is only for general advice. We don't know your financial circumstances. So before you take any action, please consult with us or with your professional advisor. Remember, there is always risk in trading the market, and there is no guarantee that everything we said is going to turn gold. If you have any questions, all you have to ask, you can write to me at george@fssecurities.com.au. If you're ringing from overseas, 61 is the country code. You don't need the 0 for the mobile. 61-411-25-9526. If you ring my mobile from a local area, it's 0411-25-9526. Happy trading, and I hope you make some money today.